10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. I'm Jose Diaz-Balart. A devastating human tragedy. At least 50 people found dead inside a tractor trailer in the sweltering Texas heat, marking the worst case of migrant deaths near the southern border in recent history. We'll get an update from the mayor of San Antonio. And in just a couple of hours, the House January 6th committee will hold a surprise hearing featuring a former top aide to then President Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. And the fallout continues as Americans look towards a post-Roe future. We're taking a closer look at the abortion debates unfolding right now in states across the country. And in Ukraine, we're following new details about the Russian missile strike on a shopping mall filled with civilians, leaving more than a dozen people dead. We begin this hour with breaking news of a horrific human tragedy in San Antonio, Texas. It's believed to be the deadliest human smuggling tragedy in recent U.S. history. Officials say the bodies of at least 50 migrants were found in the back of a sweltering truck in San Antonio, Texas, earlier this morning. The Mexican president put the death toll at 50. Officials say the migrants likely died of heat stroke. Temperatures are 100 degrees outside, likely much hotter inside that trailer. No windows, no ventilation. Take a look at the truck, completely sealed. Officials say it appears the trailer was not refrigerated. 16 people were able to survive, including 4 children, and they've been taken to area hospitals. Officials saying they were actually hot to the touch and extremely weak. President of Mexico says 7 of the migrants who died were from Guatemala, 2 from Honduras, 22 were from Mexico. NBC News has been unable to verify that claim. 3 people are in custody. It is unclear if the driver of the truck among those detained. Joining us now from that horrific scene, NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky. Morgan, what do we know as of right now?
Yeah, Jose, a massive perimeter has been set up around this remote road just on the outskirts of San Antonio. That semi-truck now the site of an investigation. It was about 100 yards behind me down this remote road. It has been towed from this area by federal investigators, scouring it for any evidence in hopes of learning more about this horrific tragedy. And it was late yesterday that we're told someone who works nearby came across this tractor trailer and he heard calls for help coming from inside that trailer. And it was, of course, when those doors opened that this grim discovery was made. The bodies of 46 people were found to be deceased. We now know that death toll has risen, according to Mexican authorities, to 50. Meanwhile, 16 others in nearby hospitals recovering from, as you mentioned, Jose, heat-related illnesses, heat stroke, heat exhaustion. Absolutely heartbreaking scene that played out here overnight. As it stands right now, we do know that federal authorities have detained 3 individuals. They aren't saying if they're tied directly to this smuggling plot, but they are holding them in custody. In the meantime, there is a concern that not everyone has been accounted for. We're told that K-9 units are going to be back on this area, scouring where this truck was located to make sure everyone has been found and located. And this is just remaining a massive crime scene. We do know that federal investigators are now playing a large role as San Antonio police keep crowds back. I just want to explain that we are on the edge of San Antonio here. This is not a road that you come across by accident, Jose. And it was here that when temperatures did hit 100 degrees yesterday, that this truck sat for hours and hours on end. We're still waiting to hear how long it sat here in the heat with those individuals inside. That as of this morning, now 50 lives perished as a result. Jose?